Have you ever stood before a dream so big that your feet felt like they turned to stone? You have a list of things to do and projects to finish, but instead of starting, you choose to scroll through your phone, check useless notifications, or get lost in small, unimportant tasks. This isn't laziness. It is a psychological state that ancient sages called mountain paralysis. We aren't crushed by the weight of the work itself, but by the weight of our own expectations for a perfect result. Let me tell you the story of Ariston, a young architect in the ancient kingdom of Byzantium, who almost lost his entire life because he didn't know how to take the very first step. Stay with me until the end, because the ancient secret I'm about to reveal will change the way you look at your goals forever. In the ancient kingdom of Byzantium, the Golden Empire, where the East met the West, and where grand marble domes stood as witnesses to centuries of human genius, lived a man named Ariston. Ariston was a young architect of infinite vision, a dreamer who saw soaring structures where others saw only empty space. He possessed great blueprints for a library that could hold all the knowledge of mankind. The king gave him gold, workers, and a deadline of 2 years to turn that dream into reality. But Ariston had a demon in his mind. Every morning he woke up, looked at the massive planning maps, and thought, it will take 6 months just to carve these marble columns. It will take a year to gather enough cedar wood from far away. It will take thousands of hours to design the perfect dome system. The more he thought about the greatness of the project, the smaller Ariston felt. He began to procrastinate. He told himself, I'm not in the right mood today. I need to wait for divine inspiration. He spent his days sharpening feathers, organizing ink pots, or walking around the royal gardens to find ideas. 6 months passed, a year passed. The library existed, only on parchment. The fog of procrastination covered Ariston's life, hiding the light of his creativity. The king summoned Ariston, seeing the empty land. He was furious. You have 3 months left. If the library does not exist by then, off with your head. Ariston returned to his room, but in total panic. He tried to stay up all night to draw, but his hands shook every time he put his pen down. He saw the mountain of work as too high and too far away. He would close his books, collapse onto his bed, and stare blankly at the ceiling. He was trapped in a cycle of guilt, not working, feeling guilty, stress, even less able to work. In the darkest night of his life, just as Ariston was about to give up everything, he remembered his uncle, Grandmaster Malachi, a man who was once the chief architect of legendary pyramids, and now lived as a hermit on the peak of the Misty mountain. Ariston climbed the mountain, gasping for breath. Malachi welcomed him with a calm smile. After hearing Ariston's cries of despair, Malachi didn't give him a new blueprint. Instead, he handed him a tiny hourglass. Ariston, Malachi said in a deep, steady voice, you are trying to swallow an entire elephant in one bite. That is why you are choking. The secret of great men is not that they have hearts of steel, but that they know how to trick their own brains. Malachi flipped the hourglass. The sand in this jar flows for exactly 600 seconds, 10 minutes. My rule is simple, the 10-minute rule. The minimum commitment. When facing a huge task, don't commit to finishing it. Just commit to working on it for exactly 10 minutes. The right to stop. After 10 minutes, you have the full right to stop without feeling any guilt. Break the friction. Your brain is afraid of forever, but it is not afraid of 10 minutes. Malachi explained. Starting requires 100 units of energy, but continuing only requires 10. The first 10 minutes are for overcoming the friction of standing still. Once you are in motion, momentum will replace motivation. Ariston returned to his desk. He placed the 10-minute hourglass in front of him. The first time, he planned to draw the pillar system. Instead of thinking about 100 stone pillars, he told himself, I will only sketch the base of one single pillar in 10 minutes. The sand flowed. For the first 3 minutes, he was restless. By minute 5, his hand began to make the first pencil strokes. By minute 10, the sand ran out. But strangely, Ariston did not stop. He flipped the hourglass again. He had momentum. The second time, he needed to write a cost report, a very boring task. Again, he used 10 minutes. He only wrote the first 5 lines. After 10 minutes, he felt, well, I can do a little more. Ariston realized a truth. Perfection is the enemy of action. He no longer waited for divine inspiration. He only needed 10 minutes. 10 minutes to grind stone. 10 minutes to mix lime. 10 minutes to check a drawing. Those 10-minute blocks piled up into hours of hard work. The mountain was no longer high because he was no longer looking at the peak. He was only looking at his next step. 3 months later, the greatest library of Byzantium was finished, much to the king's amazement. When asked about his secret, Ariston didn't talk about talent or willpower. He only held up the small hourglass. I didn't build this library in 2 years, Ariston said. I built it in thousands of 10-minute sessions, one after another. My dear friend, Ariston's story is our story. In this age of quick dopamine and constant distractions, our brains are programmed to avoid anything that requires long-term effort. We fear the mountain of unfinished courses, half-done startups, or books with only a few pages read. Remember these 3 core lessons from the Misty Mountain. Momentum over motivation. Motivation is an unreliable friend. It only shows up when the weather is nice. The 10-minute discipline is your most loyal companion. Start even when you feel most discouraged. This is the biggest secret. Action creates small results. Small results release dopamine. Dopamine creates the motivation to keep going. The micro-task rule. The hardest part is starting. Break a task down so small that it takes less than 2 minutes to begin. Once you are moving, inertia will replace willpower to carry you further. Don't write, learn English. Write, learn 5 new words in 10 minutes. Don't write, go to the gym. Write, put on my shoes and walk for 10 minutes. 2. When the goal is too small to fail, your brain stops resisting. The power of accumulation. Just as the eastern bamboo takes 4 years to grow roots and only 6 weeks to reach 90 feet, your 10-minute sessions today are those magical roots. You don't need to be perfect from the start. You just need to start. You might think this is just a story, but the world's most successful people have mastered this exact art of starting small. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett are famous for time blocking, breaking their entire day into 5 to 10-minute intense focus bursts to bypass the brain's resistance. Charles Darwin, the father of evolution, didn't work all day. He worked in short, 90-minute concentrated sessions, focusing only on the smallest next step to build his massive theories. Right now, after this video ends, I have a challenge for you. Choose one task you have been avoiding for the past month. Set a timer for exactly 10 minutes. Do just one small thing related to it. If you want to stop after 10 minutes, go ahead and stop. You have already won. Against procrastination, comment below. I commit 10 minutes to, so we can keep each other accountable. If you found value in Ariston's story, don't forget to like and share this video to spread motivation to those who are also stuck at the bottom of the mountain. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next wisdom lessons. From Eternal Wisdom Ledger, discipline is freedom, and freedom starts with the first 10 minutes. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next chapter